Okay, we're going to talk about 4-5 systems of linear inequalities. So we've graphed one inequality on a graph. Now we're going to graph two inequalities. So this is a little different. Yes, it's similar to systems of just equations where we're graphing two lines, but instead of looking for a point, we're going to have two graphs and two parts that are shaded. So let's start off and we're going to graph our first line, y is greater than x minus 2. So I'm going to begin at -2, and my slope is 1, so I'm going to go up 1, right 1, as far as I possibly can go. Now remember, we have to be careful when we're drawing our lines with inequalities. So before I do that, let's go the opposite direction and go down 1, left 1, as far as I possibly can go. So once I have that, I need to remember that since it is just greater than, it's not equal to, I'm going to need a dashed or dotted line. Okay, now that I have my dashed line, I need to shade somewhere. So since my graph was greater than, I'm going to shade everywhere that is above my line. Okay, now let's look at my second equation. Y is a less than or equal to -x plus 1. So I'm going to begin at +1 on my y-axis, and my slope is a -1. So I'm going to go down 1, right 1, as far as I possibly can go. Once I run out of room, I'm going to go the opposite direction and go up 1, left 1, as far as I possibly can go. Now remember, we got to be careful about our line. Since it is equal to, we are going to have a solid line. Once I have my solid line, I'm going to have to look at shading. So it says that y is less than or equal to, so I'm going to shade everything below my graph. Now, I'm looking for, in this situation, the part where my two shadings overlap, which is in this area right here, where I had my red and my blue shading. So this portion would be where my solutions lie. Any point within this area or that is on my solid line, not on my dashed line, would be included in my solutions. Okay, let's look at another example. Example 2. We need to graph again. So we're going to start off by graphing y is greater than or equal to -x plus 2. So when I go to graph this, I'm going to begin at +2. And I'm going to go down 1, right 1, as far as I can go. Once I run out of room, I'm going to go up 1, left 1, as far as I can go. And then I'm going to look at what kind of line do I need to draw. Since it is greater than or equal to, I'm going to have a solid line. Then I need to shade. It says that my graph is greater than or equal to. So I'm going to shade everywhere above my graph. Okay, then let's switch colors and let's graph. Y is less than -1x minus 2. So I'm going to begin at -2. And I'm going to go down 1, right 1, as far as I possibly can go. Once I run out of space, I'm going to go the opposite direction and go up 1, left 1, as far as I possibly can go. And I can see that these two lines are parallel. Before I make my line, I need to look. My inequality was just less than. It was not equal to, so I'm going to have a dashed line. And now I need to shade. Since it was less than, I'm going to shade below my line. Now, I'm looking for in these systems of inequalities where my shading overlaps. And I see that my two lines where I shaded never had anything that was overlapping. That blue and that red shading did not cross. So I can say that I have no solution. There is no point on these two inequalities on this graph where my lines and my points would have solutions. Okay, let's look at our next example. All right, example 3, it says, are the following points a solution to the graph below? So we're going to look at both of these graphs, and you can see that part of this graph is a darker shaded region. That is where our solutions to this system would lie, is where those two shadings overlapped. So I'm looking for those points to fall in that shaded overlapped area. Okay, so let's look at our points. Our first point is 0, 0. 0, 0 falls right here. Yes, it falls in a shaded area, but it's not in that overlap. So we would say no, it is not a solution to that system of inequalities. Okay, let's look at 4, negative 4. So 4, negative 4 is right here, and that is not in any sort of shaded region at all. So I would say, no, it is not a solution to this system of inequalities. Okay, let's look at the point 4, 6. 4, 6 falls right there, which is in that overlap. So we would say, yes, that is a solution to our system of inequalities. Okay, then our last point is 3, 2. So 3, 2 falls on our lines. It is at the point of our double shaded region, but it's on 2 dashed lines. And we know that dashed lines do not equal. So we're not going to include it, which means that this point 3, 2 would be a no because it's on a dashed line.